Welcome to my channel. Do you still think in your native language and then try to speak in English? What if I told you that this one habit is the biggest reason your English sounds slow and unnatural? I used to do the same. I would think in my language, then try to find the English words, and then speak. It felt slow. It felt hard. I made many mistakes. But something changed. Today, I'll show you how to stop translating and start speaking naturally, with real tricks that actually work. These tricks help me speak English without fear, without delay, and without confusion. They can help you too. Stay with me. This could change everything. Chapter 1. My problem with translating every word. When I started learning English, I had one big habit. I translated everything in my head, word by word, sentence by sentence. I would hear a question in English, but my brain did not answer in English. First, I thought in my native language. Then I tried to find the English words. Then I tried to speak. But by the time I opened my mouth, it was already too late. The moment was gone. People were waiting for me to speak, and I felt stuck. I was silent, or I said something wrong. Sometimes I just smiled and nodded, even when I didn't understand. This happened all the time, at school, in shops, at home, even on the internet. I saw English, and I panicked. I wanted to reply. I wanted to talk. But I could not speak naturally. My English was slow. My English was broken. My English was not me. And I knew why. It was because I was trying to translate everything in my head. I remember one moment clearly. I was at a family dinner. My cousin had returned from abroad. He spoke perfect English. He asked me a simple question. "What do you like to do in your free time?" I knew the answer in my language. I wanted to say, "I like reading books and watching movies." But I couldn't say it. I tried to translate every word. I like book. I see film. My voice shook. My sentence was wrong. Everyone laughed, not to hurt me, but I felt small. I felt like a failure. That night, I cried. I looked at myself in the mirror. I said, "Why can't I speak? I know the words. I know the grammar. I study every day. But when it's time to talk, I freeze." I realized something. The problem was not my memory. The problem was not my brain. The problem was translation. I thought translation was helping me, but it was actually blocking me. It made me slow. It made me unsure. It made me scared. I understood that my brain was doing too much. First, it translated. Then, it tried to fix the grammar. Then, it worried about the sentence. No wonder I couldn't speak well. I was not thinking in English. I was translating in my head, and that was the mistake. After that night, I made a promise to myself. I said, "No more translation. I will find a better way." That was the beginning of a big change. A small decision, but a powerful one. I knew it wouldn't be easy. I knew I would still make mistakes. But I was ready to stop depending on my native language. I wanted to speak English directly, naturally, confidently. If you feel this way, if you translate every word and still feel stuck, then I want to tell you, you are not alone. I was there. I understand your struggle. I know how it feels. And I also know that you can change it. This is the first step, understanding the problem. And the problem is not you. The problem is translating every word in your head. In the next chapter, I will tell you why translating doesn't work and why your brain needs a better way to learn English. Stay with me. The change begins here. Chapter 2. Why translating doesn't work. When we learn English, most of us begin with translation. It feels like the only way. We know our language, so we try to use it as a bridge. We hear something in English, and our brain runs back to our mother tongue to understand it. Then we search for the English words to say. But this method doesn't help when you want to speak fluently. In fact, it stops you. Let me explain why. Every language has its own structure, its own word order, its own grammar rules. What sounds normal in one language sounds strange in another. For example, in my language we say, Main seb khatahun. If I try to translate it directly, it becomes, I apple eat. But in English, we don't say it like that. We say, I eat apple. The words are the same, but the order is different. If I translate directly, the sentence is wrong. This is the biggest problem with translating. Your brain tries to follow the rules of your language while speaking English. It mixes the two, and that creates confusion. You feel nervous. You stop in the middle. You lose confidence. You say, why can't I speak properly? But the truth is, it's not your fault. It's the habit of translation that causes this problem. Sometimes there are words in your language that don't even exist in English, or the meaning changes. For example, we might say something in our language to show respect or to speak formally. But in English, the same sentence becomes too cold or too direct. It changes the feeling. It changes the message. Translation breaks that emotion. The listener feels something else, not what you meant. That's not all. Some English phrases cannot be translated at all. For example, think about idioms. We say, it's raining cats and dogs. If we try to translate this into another language, it will sound funny or nonsense. It's not about animals. It means heavy rain. But if you always translate in your head, you will miss the meaning. You will say something wrong, or stay silent because it doesn't make sense. I used to do this. Every time I wanted to speak, I first created the sentence in my language. Then I translated it in my head. Then I spoke. But it took too long. I always felt behind. People spoke fast. I was still thinking. The moment was gone. I missed my chance. I stayed quiet. I felt small. It became clear to me, English is not just new words, it's a new way of thinking. You can't use your language's map to travel in English. You need a new map. You need to learn how English sentences work. You need to learn to think in English, not translate into it. This truth was hard for me at first. I thought, if I don't translate, how will I understand? But the real question is, if I keep translating, how will I ever speak naturally? This question changed me. It woke me up. I realized that I needed to train my brain to think directly in English, even if it was slow in the beginning. I had to stop using my first language as a support. I had to walk on my own. And the good news? Your brain can do it. It just needs time. It needs training. It needs the right practice. In the next chapter, I will tell you what happened the day I decided to stop translating, and how that one choice helped me take my first real step toward natural English. If you have been translating every sentence in your head, don't worry. Many people do. I did it too. But now you know the reason why it doesn't work. You are ready to try something better. Let's take that step together. Chapter 2. Why translating doesn't work. When I was learning English, I thought translation was the best way. I thought, I already know my language, so I will just translate each sentence into English. It sounded easy, it felt safe, but I was wrong. That method made my English slow. It made me feel confused. It made me speak with fear. I didn't know it in the beginning, but later I understood. Translation was the biggest mistake I was making. Let me tell you why. Every language is different. The words are different. The grammar is different. Even the word order is different. In my language, we say, Mein seb katahun. If I translate it directly into English, I say, I apple eat. But this is wrong in English. The correct way is, I eat apple. So you can see, if we try to translate word by word, the sentence becomes strange. People will not understand us, or they will think we don't know English, and we lose confidence. That's just one sentence. Now think about long sentences. Think about feelings, emotions, jokes, or idioms. They are even harder to translate. For example, in English, people say, break the ice. But if I translate it into my language, it means breaking real ice. That makes no sense. But in English, break the ice means to start a conversation in a friendly way. So if we try to translate, we lose the meaning. We lose the real message. We say wrong things, or we say nothing at all. When we translate, our brain does extra work. It hears English, then it goes back to our native language. Then it tries to make a sentence. Then it comes back to English. This takes time. It's like walking in a big circle when you can just take one step straight. This is why we feel slow when we speak. This is why we feel tired. This is why we feel nervous, because our brain is doing too much. I remember when someone asked me in English, "What do you do?" I wanted to answer. I knew what to say in my language, but I started translating in my head, and I forgot the English words. I said, I do study, work, something. It didn't make sense. I saw the other person's face. They didn't understand me, and I felt ashamed. I said to myself, why can't I speak clearly? But now I know the answer. I was translating. And I also remember another moment. I heard someone speak English without stopping. They were not translating. They were thinking in English. Their sentences were not perfect, but they sounded natural. I thought, how do they do it? The answer was simple. They had stopped translating. They had trained their brain to think directly in English. That was the day I started to understand. Translation is not the real way. Translation is just the beginning. It helps for a short time. But if you want to speak fluently, you must let it go. You must build a new way, a way where English lives in your mind, not just in your notebook. So, if you are always translating before you speak, it's okay. Many learners do it. I did it too. But now you know the truth. It doesn't work in the long run. It makes you slow. It makes you nervous. It takes your confidence away. That's why you must take the next step. And don't worry, I will help you. In the next chapter, I will tell you what happened on the day I stopped translating. That day changed everything for me. That day was the beginning of my real English speaking journey. Let's go there together. Chapter 3. The day I stopped translating. I still remember the day. It was quiet outside. The sky was gray. I was sitting at my study table looking at my English book. I had a pen in my hand and a notebook full of words I had translated. I had written meanings in my language for every English word I learned. Page after page, word after word. I thought I was doing the right thing, but I still couldn't speak. I still couldn't think in English. And I felt tired, tired of translating, tired of forgetting, tired of feeling small when someone spoke English fast. That day, something inside me broke. Not in a bad way, in a way that wakes you up. I asked myself, how long will I do this? How long will I be afraid to speak? How long will I need translation to survive in English? My heart felt heavy. My eyes were wet. I had tried so hard. I had studied so much. But still, I couldn't express my own thoughts. Suddenly, I closed the book. I looked at the words and I said, "No more." I knew something had to change. I couldn't keep doing the same thing and expect something new to happen. So I made a decision, a real one.